Right now at noon, a child care crisis takes center stage as Pittsburgh's mayor addresses the city's challenges facing families.
And our above normal temperatures continue as we stay hot, not just today, but through the weekend. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, while birth rates drop nationwide, Jasper County leads Missouri with the highest birth rate in the state. Why families choose to grow here.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
General Mills announces major changes coming to its operations that will impact jobs here in the four states. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Samantha Walker. The food giant plans to close 3 manufacturing facilities, including 2 pet food facilities in Joplin and a pizza crust plant in St. Charles, Missouri. General Mills says the changes will improve competitiveness and reduce expenses. The pet food plants were acquired in 2024. The Joplin facilities are expected to close by the end of fiscal year 2029. General Mills did say employees in Joplin will have other employment opportunities at other pet food plants within the company. Jasper County's birth rate is drawing optimism from local officials. Last week, we told you Jasper County has the highest birth rate in the state of Missouri, breaking down why that may be the case. Nationally, birth rates have been on decline, prompting concerns about future workforces. For local leaders, the higher than average birth rate is a good sign for the community's future growth and expansion.
That's really encouraging. We have a future workforce. We have future business leaders. We have a bright future, and the data shows that.
Joplin city officials say they're now focusing on creating family-friendly amenities, from bike parks to a splash pad. Well, from revitalizing historic buildings to tackling childcare, Pittsburgh leaders say the city's on the move. Blake Goley shows us what the mayor outlined in her first State of the City address.
Since 2015, there has been $800 million invested in our community, bringing 2,000 new jobs.
Thursday afternoon, Pittsburgh Mayor Dawn Knay delivered her first State of the City address to a packed crowd at the Memorial Auditorium. The mayor highlighted major developments, giving credit to past leadership for dedicating sales tax revenue towards economic growth.
The long vacant Best Hotel is set to be revitalized, with plans to convert its upper floors into student housing and repurpose remaining space for a blend of public use and office facilities, a $16 million project.
During the State of the City address, child care took center stage, with city leaders saying it is one of the biggest issues families are currently facing, and it is also a concern of the mayor's.
We cannot leave today without talking about the availability of child care, which is critical to our community. The Washington School Rehab, a project initiated by Point Forward, a community development corporation, has partnered with Grow at Eden to provide child care and preschool.
The mayor also pointed to investments in public safety, including new dash cams for the police department, which were purchased through the public safety sales tax. City leaders say the goal behind these ventures is to make Pittsburgh a better place to live.
The city would look like a place where everybody, regardless of where you are in your life, would have an improved quality of life on a year-to-year basis.
And city officials say more projects are on the way to meet the needs of Pittsburgh residents. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Blake Gully, KOAM News.
As Pittsburgh grows, leaders say the goal remains the same, improving the quality of life for everyone who calls the city home. Chris Warner now joins us with a first look at weather.
Yeah, we've continued with above normal temperatures across the area, and that will last today and into the weekend, and really the start of next week as well. Earlier this morning, downtown Pittsburgh looked great, just a few clouds. That's all we're expecting for us today. MoDOT camera from this morning as well, looking fantastic. And like I said, it's fantastic if this was early September, but it's not. You can see we started at 61. Look at what our average is supposed to be, 53. And then we made it up to 87 yesterday. Not at the record levels, but we've been pushing close in some cases. So that's what we want to keep an eye on as we continue to stay warm. Our temperature trend, again, you know where our average high sits, and you can see at least through the weekend and through this week, our average is Not even close. We've been 10, 12 degrees above normal. Some of you have been almost 15 degrees above normal out there. And that will continue to be the case for us. So here's a quick look through the evening. Great night for Friday Night Football, though. 80 by 7, mid-70s by 8. And as we go later this evening, low 70s by 11, mid-60s with clear skies overnight tonight. Stay hot through the weekend. Possibly some big changes next week. Details in the full forecast in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. The Parsons Police and Fire Departments are gearing up for a special event this weekend. They're hosting a 4th annual Parsons Public Safety Fair. The free event aims to help educate community members on safety with hands-on learning and demonstrations.
The difference is this year is we married up with the Chamber of Commerce, and they're holding the Arts Festival the same day, so we're looking to exchange both traffic from their event and our event.
The fair takes place Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the police department. And at 6 p.m. there will also be a candlelight vigil for domestic violence victim Abigail Winters. The Gordon Parks Museum hosted a grand opening and dedication ceremony yesterday afternoon for the Wayman Chapel AME Church Commemorative Park. The park honors the legacy of the oldest black church in Fort Scott, which played a vital role in the local black community for over 115 years. The commemorative site features historic signage and original brick supports, showcasing where the church once stood, celebrating its rich history and connection to renowned filmmaker Gordon Parks.
Gordon used this church in 1968 when he filmed The Learning Tree here in Fort Scott. And so the film is placed in the Library of Congress as top 25 important films of Film Classic Registry of all time in 1989. And so this church is part of history, and so we want to show that connection.
Stained glass windows and pews taken from the demolished church are now on display at the Gordon Parks Museum. The Joplin area Town and Country Quilters hosted their annual quilt show yesterday at the Community of Christ Church. For more than 40 years, the Guild has brought quilters from across the region together to share their talent, showcasing everything from quilts and wall hangings to walker bags for senior centers.
We create small quilts, we hand make those, walker bags for some of the senior citizen centers and this and that. We also provide education for our members, bringing in well-known quilter people that do have different specialties, and we bring them in and we learn from them.
Today and tomorrow, the public is invited to enjoy the full quilt show. Well, make sure to join us on the free KOAM Plus streaming app tonight at 7. Tune in to watch the Joplin High School Eagles take on the Carthage Tigers on the football field. This is a big matchup as it's JHS's homecoming game. Catch all the action on the KOAM Plus app, free to download for Roku, Apple TV, and your smart TV. Well, coming up, as the government shutdown continues, President Trump is threatening mass firings of government workers, possibly beginning today. And later, we're making a naked sweet and sour chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The Senate is expected to vote again today on funding bills to reopen the government, but both Republicans and Democrats remain dug into their positions. Hanging in the balance are hundreds of thousands of federal employees who have been furloughed and threats by the Trump administration of mass firings if the shutdown continues. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
With shutdown impacts growing each day, the White House is piling on more pressure. This morning, the head of the Office of Management and Budget, Russ Vought, announced over $2 billion in Chicago infrastructure projects have been put on hold. That comes as the administration has threatened further cuts to agencies and mass layoffs if the shutdown continues.
It's likely going to be in the thousands.
This afternoon, Senate lawmakers are set to vote again on dueling measures with no word yet of a breakthrough.
At some point, reason, good sense, common sense has to take effect here.
Republicans insist on reopening the government first before negotiating over the enhanced health care tax credits that Democrats want.
They're hurting the American people. Let's find a bipartisan path forward, and let's address the Republican health care crisis.
Republicans are being responsible. We're operating in good faith, and we're trying to get the Democrats to do their job, and they won't.
Hundreds of thousands of federal employees remain in limbo, worried about missing paychecks if the shutdown drags on for many days or even weeks.
What are they going to do for groceries? What are they going to do for gasoline and those type of things? The essential things that they try to provide for the families. That's what they are concerned about.
Food banks nationwide are preparing for increased demand, especially if money runs out for federal programs like WIC and SNAP, which provides food assistance to low-income families and children. There are concerns funding could lapse if the shutdown is prolonged. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Why order Chinese takeout when you can make it faster than you could have it delivered? I'll show you coming up.
And our temperatures remaining above average, as I've mentioned, through the weekend, but the potential for some pretty big changes next week. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon on another very September-ish type day, but I assure you it is still October, even though it really hasn't felt like it here lately. Let's take a look from earlier this morning downtown Pittsburgh, where again things looked all right. Just a few clouds this morning. That's really all we're expecting through the day. The problem is our temperatures, and the future track isn't really helping us out all that much other than those few clouds. That's it today. And in fact, through the weekend, there's absolutely nothing happening. We'll continue with clear skies. We continue with southerly winds, and we continue with temperatures again 10 to 15 degrees above normal. Now, the only way you know the future track's doing anything is the time changes. I'm pressing the button, but there's just nothing to show. There's not even clouds on the future track as we head through the weekend. It's just dry and clear, and so that's just the pattern we've set into. But some good news. Next week starts to bring some changes. We're going to get into that in just a moment. However, as for the rest of our day today, again, mostly clear skies out there, upper 80s, and again, a couple of 90s, not out of the question, with south winds at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We go into the evening and overnight hours. Friday night football tonight looks fantastic. Now, this is our low. It won't be that cool by football time. Still into the upper 70s in most cases, but it's going to be a great evening for some Friday night football. Don't have to worry about bundling up unless you're like really sensitive. You know, I know the 70s can be a little cool for some folks, but otherwise it's not bad. We'll go mid 60s tonight, still with those clear skies and a south breeze at around 5 to 10. Clear skies for our Saturday, which we showed you on the future track. We're just confirming it in a way. We'll go mid upper 80s once again. And I'll have that south wind again, also at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, where it gets interesting is as we roll into the next work week. So we stay warm, we stay above average all the way through Monday. And then this system, it's consistent. We're looking at least some shower and storm chances. Like I said, they're not the world's greatest chances, but at least they are there. And our temperatures begin to fall back a bit, which we knew was going to happen too. We're looking at upper 70s. This is where it gets a little more interesting. Depending on the potency of this system, it could have a big impact one way or the other on our forecast beyond Thursday, Friday of next week. So here's one possibility. Now, I'm going to tell you that based on the long-range data, because, I mean, we're still, look at how far out this is going. We're going 10 days out here. We're still a ways away. I don't think, based on what we've seen, that we're going to get that chilly by next Sunday. We're talking upper 50s, low 60s for highs. I do think that the cooling trend from our temperatures with this system will continue into the weekend, and it's not out of the realm of possibility. We do fall back into, say, the upper 60s and low 70s by next weekend. However, another long-range piece of data suggests that we actually warm back up again next weekend and go back into the 80s. That's a possibility. I think it's not very likely that that happens, but it is a possibility we've got to watch. Like I said, I also don't think it's going to get quite that cold by next weekend, but I do think we're going to cool off. So there's a lot we want to keep an eye on. It's all going to depend on this system next week, bringing us those rain chances as to how much cool air it can bring down here. But I do think we're going to finally get to fall-like temperatures as we roll through the second half of the next work week. Just something that we'll keep an eye on. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making naked sweet and sour chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Now, nothing beats some great Chinese takeout. Except, of course, when you can make it yourself at home. If you're a fan of sweet and sour chicken but are trying to eat maybe a little bit lighter, this recipe's perfect. We're making naked sweet and sour chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
One of my favorite things to do on nights when my wife and I don't feel like cooking, yeah, even we have those, is to pick up dinner from the Chinese takeout place around the corner. We try all sorts of different things. And even though I love the taste of sweet and sour chicken, I don't love how heavy it is. So, me being me, I took on the challenge to make a version that is lighter, yet it still packs on the flavor. Let me show you what we did. In a skillet, we cooked strips of chicken with a bit of garlic in hot oil. After it's cooked through, we add some honey, ketchup, vinegar, pineapple chunks, the juice and all, and some strips of red pepper. To bring all the flavors together, we slowly stir in some soy sauce mixed with a bit of cornstarch. While that does its thing, we can dish up some jasmine or brown rice and dinner is ready. Last thing we need to do is toss in a few sliced scallions and get ready for a new spin on an old favorite, and for only a fraction of the cost of takeout. I do hope you'll go online and get our new recipe for what we call naked sweet and sour chicken, since it doesn't have that heavy coating on it. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where every day we're looking for a tastier way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4 state market prices.
All right, again, still above average, upper 80s through the weekend, start of next week. Got those rain chances and temperatures dropping back down. We'll have to see how low we go by next weekend, but I do think at least some upper 60s and low 70s are going to be possible. And again, at least some slight rain chances in there as well.
Chris, thanks. Coming up tonight at 5, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's a disease that strikes mainly women, but doctors say people need to understand it can happen to men. In fact, many men are diagnosed with advanced breast cancer because there are no recommended screenings for them. We'll hear from a male breast cancer survivor getting the word out. Plus, Rock Your School in McDonald County offers immersive experiences that bring education to life in new and unexpected ways. And the Pioneer Harvest Fiesta kicks off in Bourbon County. Join us for those stories and a whole lot more on KOAM News at 5. That's the news for now. Thanks for joining us for the KOAM News at Noon. Have a great afternoon.